Welcome back to PM with the Trigger. Happy Thursday to you today. It's a beautiful week as we continue on our month-long series, Freedom from the Fear of Public Speaking. We've been looking at all sorts of different fears that public speakers or soon-to-be speakers or those that want to be speakers, that there's these fears. There's these things that get in the way of us achieving our dreams and our goals. It could be in your own business. You want to be a speaker, representative. You want to be able to get up and do that first keynote in your school, in your college. There's so many different ways of public speaking, even in the area of media that we spend most of our time talking about. People want to be on camera, they want to be on microphones, but it's that fear of actually stepping out and doing it. And all month long, we've been going through different fears, having different guests on to help you hear their stories, their understandings. Today, we're going to tackle that dreaded one of the fear of audience judgment, or just the fear of judgment in general. It's not even the audience sometimes. Sometimes it's our best friends. Sometimes it's family. Sometimes it's coworkers. It's feedback from people that cast that feeling. It may not even be true, by the way. They may not be telling you they're casting judgment, but you get the feeling that they're judging me, and it's not a comfortable feeling. This fear of judgment is very real, by the way, so we're not going to make light of it. It's real, and it does happen. People do judge us when, depending if you're on stage or not on stage. If you're not a public speaker, people are still judging you. It's a part of life. It's a fact of life. No one likes the idea of being judged, but you're intentionally putting yourself out there. One thing about being a public speaker is you are intentionally making yourself vulnerable. You are intentionally putting yourself out there for someone else to look at you, listen to you, and say, yep, no, agree, don't agree. And it's part of the challenge. It's part of taking on the role of being a public speaker. You have to allow yourself to be vulnerable for that feedback. So I'm going to give you 5 tips today to kind of help you do this. And some of them may push your button a little bit. Some of them are going to challenge you. This is not one that's kind of easy, just brushed off. It sounds like it might be an easy one. Fear of judgment. Okay, throw it away. I don't care what people say about judgment. We can say that all that we want, but the truth is, no one, not even me, likes to be judged. Just don't like it, but we have to address it. So let's dive into this a little bit. And the first one is, it's intimidating to be a speaker. So admit that. Admit the fact it's a little bit intimidating to be a speaker and step on stage to do it. So when the feeling or the words or the feedback is judgment, and it's not good judgment, reframe the perception in your mind. This is kind of that power positive thinking. This is the idea of looking and listening. And if you're an actor, actress, you know this. You read the trades, you get the magazine, they do that review of you, of your drama, of your play that you put on. And it's like, oh, the lead actress was blah, 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 blah. The lead actor was horrible in the scene too. There's going to be feedback. So you need to learn to reframe it. Reframe it, understand it, and then admit it. Whether it's valid criticism, valid feedback, learn to accept that. Visualize the audience. We've talked about this before. Visualize every audience as they're friends. They're people that came to hear you. They're excited to hear you. So you want to reframe this as, I'm okay with it. I got good people in the audience with me. Jan is back with us, and she's launching the conversation right away. Judgment can mean you won't do well. It can mean that. It doesn't have to mean that, but Jan, you're right. It might mean that, but that's where reframing it up in your mind now takes it to a different direction. Because we're always going to be evaluated. Again, like I said, no matter what you do, whether you're a speaker or not a speaker, we're always going to be evaluated. Now you have to learn how to reframe it. Be interested in what people have to say. Be interested in the feedback, but don't take everything to heart. Foster and learn a more relaxed, let it roll off the duck's back kind of attitude with any feedback you get. Some people give you feedback and it's over the top. It's over the top moon crazy, and you know they're blowing smoke. They just don't know what to say, and they're just going to toot your horn and toot your own. Let that roll off your back as much as judgmental rolls back, because somewhere in the middle is really the truth of what judgment or feedback is really all about. So reframe it, reframe it, reframe it. Yes, it is an interesting way to approach it, but it's one of the best ways that I know to handle this so I can go locked and loaded every time that it's going to be a win. It may not be a home run every time. It may not be a standing ovation, but I'm okay that I know going in what's realistic and what's not realistic. So reframe it. Number two, be self-aware of your own strengths and your weaknesses. Be self-aware. You have to learn to admit where you know you are a superhero and your speaking area is great. Own that. And you also have to learn and trust there are certain areas that I'm just not that great at. And I've talked about this before personally, so I'll share it again. I am not a comedian. Now, I use sarcasm. I use kind of off self-putting statements. I wisecrack, but I am not the traditional guy who can stand up and say, three men walked into a bar with a duck, and I'm going to get the right ending to the story. I just can't do it. So I have learned that's an area I'm not as strong in. So I go more to storytelling, one of my best strengths. I go to life application, one of my strengths. Audience engagement. So learn your good and your bad. Own yourself. Admit to yourself your best and your worst. And again, it will put you back in that right frame of mind that we started off with point number one. If you know you're good, bad, and the ugly, it will help you have that right frame of mind of what you're going out, no matter what the client wanted, no matter what people expected, you are going to stay in your sweet spot and you're not going to drift into a lane that you know is not going to be sweet, not powerful. It's not going to help you out. So do that. Be self-aware. There you go. And Nancy's chiming into it too. Nancy likes the self-aware. It's key. It really is key to it. And this is not self-deprecation. It's not looking down on yourself. It's taking an honest look at you because you all have strengths. Every one of us does. And we all have weaknesses. We're human. Give yourself grace to be okay and get comfortable that way. So when the feedback does come and some of it is rough, you can go, you know what, you're right. That's not my best area. I tried it again today. I gave it another try, but you're right. That's really not my sweet spot. Thanks for letting me know it didn't hit on the mark today. That's really, really huge. Now, also, you need to remember the 80-20 rule. What's the 80-20 rule trigger? Let me tell you what the 80-20 rule is. It's really, really important to understand that 20% of people, there's always the small crowd that no matter what you do, it's going to look through a critical lens. There's always those in the audience. There are always going to be the skeptics. They're in your families. They're in your office. They're everywhere you go. There's a small few people, and that's always the loudest crowd. Let me repeat that. The negative crowd is always the loudest crowd. Whether it's fan mail, emails, whether it's on the work review, whether it's whatever it is, negative fans, negative people always, always, always are the ones who are going to give you the feedback and be authentic. There you go. Thank you very much, Rod. You're playing along with us. Okay, good to have you along here. So understand this and accept. There's going to be those people in the crowd. They paid their ticket. They came to the conference. They sat middle of the row. And part of their mindset is, I know they're going to give me something good, but it's like Walter, the puppet. You know the Walter puppet, folded arms. I dare you to make me happy today, Jeff. Walter is the epitome of the guy in the room that's always going to find something negative. But that means there's 80% of the people. 80% of the people are accepting, receiving, cheering you on. They are with you. They're nodding their heads. And their judgment is not judgment. They're truth. Think of that. They're with you in truth, in spirit. 80% of the people. And those are the ones that aren't going to make a big fuss of anything. You can blow a joke, and they're going to be okay with it. You could hit a home run, and some people still don't stand up and cheer for the home run. But they are 80% with you. Understand that 80-20 rule, and remember, there's far more that are with you than they are against you. And believe me, that has been a huge relief for me as I've been in all sorts of settings, traveled around, been live, been recorded, been streaming, been interviewed, knowing that 80% of the people are already with me has been a, "Phew, I got this, Trigger. Just keep going forward." What's Jan's got here coming on in here again? There we go. The 80-20, and there they are. So own that. Really, really take that as something before you step out on stage. Really, really important before you step on stage. Remember, 80% are already with me here. Just go for the fences. And Roger sort of touched on it a little bit, but number 4, my tip is be authentic. You are who you are. You are who you are. And that's always the best way to present. It's something about being vulnerable. Again, like I said at the beginning, you are vulnerable on stage. If anyone tells you as a speaker you're not vulnerable, you need to get a second, third, fourth opinion. There's something about stepping on stage. The spotlight goes on, the music quiets down, and for that brief moment, you realize all eyes are on me. And you have to take a pause and recognize that and then own that as being good. They are paying attention. They're ready for what I'm going to deliver. But with that comes a vulnerability. I have rehearsed and rehearsed. A lot of people tell you one of the best ways to avoid that audience judgment would be rehearse, rehearse. Yes, we all get that. We already know that. So I'm not going to tell you that one today because you already know that one. But that vulnerability, it also allows the audience to connect with you. When you embrace that vulnerability, you're actually one of them. Think about that. Because they're not on stage. They are kind of nervous sometimes. They would like to be on stage, but they're not quite there with you yet. But the vulnerability makes you different. Rod is coming in here. Different skills. Ooh. So you want me to do a little research here about different skills. I get you, Rod. I will be happy to follow up on that. So watch for a follow-up. We'll do it at 2 p.m. live and great stuff like that. Thanks for asking the question. Again, ask questions. I love getting feedback of knowing what you want to hear. One of those things that you really need to explore, let me know, and I'm happy to do that. So this going deeper with the audience is your truths, you're vulnerable, be authentic. And again, one of the way I do that when I'm on stage is often I will pull out a chair. I will sit for a little bit, especially if I'm reading something. It makes that intimate connection. If it's a soft, tender moment, I will sit down and emotionally I will exude. I'm going to bring you in a little bit quieter here, everybody. I really want you to listen intently. So learning how to use your stage to create that vulnerability at the right time and create that connectivity helps people just be present with you. And that's part of the way of judgment not coming into this. If you can keep the people wrapped in the moment, wrapped right there, they taste it, they feel it, they touch it, they know it with you. They don't care what happens. They are in the moment with you, and there is no judgment with that. There is only, I'm here, and thanks for taking me on that journey with you. Reinforcing here, coming in once again, be authentic. Thank you, Jan. I love having reinforcement. Again, you guys are now just becoming the part of the 2 p.m. family here. So, by the way, there's one more big tip, and I think this is a huge one for you. Create what I call your reflection team. Many of us have done strength finders. We've done discs. We've done different things that help us explore those strengths and weaknesses, and I highly recommend those. If you don't know what I'm talking about, please reach out. I'll let you get some free resources, do some self-critiquing. But this creating your own reflection team is huge. I have used inside counsel, shall you say, for many years. They know what I'm going to speak on in advance. They maybe be speaking in and reviewing and help me tweak a story and illustration. But sometimes they're in the live audiences. Sometimes it's right here and people see me doing this live streaming stuff. They're in this reflection team and they can literally call me up, Zoom, talk, whatever. And I've given permission to tell me, you had us here. That was good. A little bit of construction criticism, a feedback loop. When you got to this point, you kind of lost it. You jumped off the train tracks. Maybe don't use that illustration. You went off script and you really kind of messed up the flow of what you were doing. That reflection team is absolute gold. And I can tell you firsthand, many speakers, Many media personalities do not have that. They have not let down the wall and given permission to say, I need you to give me the truth and the whole truth, nothing but the truth, so I can get better and I can hone this craft. And that reflection team is probably one of the greatest things that I think you should put into your own package, your own way of doing things. Strengths, yeah. Okay, here we go. Strengths finders. I see a comment coming in about strengths finders. It is a game changer. Yes, it is. It truly, truly is a major game changer. I have multiple tests over the years, and I always land pretty similar to the exact same spot. Depending on what I'm involved with, depending on the time of year, depending on what's going on when I take the tests, there might be a slight variance, but it has been proven I know who trigger is. And it really, really helps a lot. Oh, there we go. Offering it to my cousin. Look at that. And then we've also got the speaker kitchen cabinet. Oh, there we go. People you trust. And yes, Roger, you know what I'm talking about. Being a part of the NSA, being a part of some of the groups that you and I coexist in, there is great feedback and great reflection that comes in. Be a part of a mastermind, but the masterminds are not always really the group I'm discussing. This is hand selected that you have invited in, and you make it very clear to everybody. When I ask for the feedback, whether I ask for it or not, in fact, sometimes I need to hear. We can be self-aware. We can know what we know, but there's nothing better than a colleague, a friend, a companion in the business that can come alongside and say, hey, let me point this out to you as help. So the fear of audience judgment is real. Admit that. Go back over and remember that you have to understand and reframe that perception. Learn how to be self-aware of your strengths and weaknesses. Remember the 80-20 rule. Be authentic, embrace who you are, and own that on stage, by the way. I do not make any apologies that I'm not a comic. Make no apologies. So own your authentic nature, be that authentic nature, and then create that reflection team and watch yourself shine brighter, and get stronger and stronger. So no matter what happened with the crowd, no matter what the feedback is from the crowd, embrace it, live with it, and learn to rock your own stage. Hey, as always, if you want to ever connect more, as I was talking about, contact me, rich@bontrager.net. That email goes directly to me. It's one-on-one. I take your emails seriously. I respond to them, not a teammate. This is my straight pipeline, one of those straight doors of connection you have with me. And one other way that you can connect really, really easy is to book a one-on-one call. Get a consultation. Get a time together. Let's talk about what you're doing, what you're up to. I do critique video. I do help you frame up videos. I help you work on your YouTube channel. There's so many different ways we express, that we speak, and that we own the stage now. You want to learn more about that? Hit that QR code. Let's connect. Let's book a call, and let's help you shine brighter and brighter. Hey, that's going to do it for today. Again, more freedom from the fear of public speaking will continue next week, Tuesday and Thursday. We're going to have more guests come on back. We're going to hear from their opinions, their thoughts, as we continue our month-long series on freedom from the fear of public speaking. That's going to do it for today. We'll see you tomorrow, 2 p.m. live with The Trigger.